Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the top 5 CSS mistakes you need to avoid in 2025. Let's be real for a second. Writing clean, efficient, and future-proof CSS can be tricky. There are a lot of moving parts, evolving best practices, and sometimes those pesky little mistakes can creep in and sabotage our style sheets. But don't worry, I've got your back. In this video, we're going to break down those common CSS mistakes that can trip you up, and more importantly, how to avoid them. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's level up our CSS game together. Alright, let's kick things off with the dreaded important declaration. Now I know what you're thinking. Kevin, important is a lifesaver. It gets the job done when nothing else works. And you know what? You're not entirely wrong. There are legitimate use cases for important. But, and this is a big but, it's often overused and can lead to a whole world of pain down the road. Here's the deal. When you slap an important on a CSS declaration, you're essentially telling the browser, hey, no matter what other styles you encounter, this one wins, no arguments. Sounds great in theory, right? But in larger projects, this can create a tangled web of specificity nightmares. You end up with styles fighting each other, making your CSS harder to maintain and debug. Think of it like this. Using important is like using duct tape to fix a leaky faucet. Sure, it might stop the leak temporarily, but it's not a permanent solution, and it can make things messier in the long run. So, next time you're tempted to reach for that important button, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is there a more elegant, maintainable solution? Chances are there is, and your future self will thank you for it. Now, let's talk about layouts. For years, we've been wrestling with floats, tables, and all sorts of hacks to achieve even the simplest of layouts. But friends, those days are over. CSS Grid has arrived, and it's here to revolutionize the way we build web layouts. Grid is like having a superpower in your CSS arsenal. It allows you to create complex, responsive layouts with ease and elegance that would have made us weep with frustration just a few years ago. With Grid, you can define rows, columns, and areas, giving you unparalleled control over the positioning and sizing of your elements. It's like having a digital Etch-a-Sketch, but way more powerful and way less likely to give you carpal tunnel syndrome. So, if you're still clinging to those old layout methods, I implore you, let go. Embrace the power of CSS Grid, and I promise you'll never look back. Now, let's talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart: accessibility. When we're crafting our websites, it's easy to get caught up in making things look pixel perfect. But it's crucial to remember that the web is for everyone, regardless of their abilities. Writing accessible CSS is not just a nice to have, it's an essential part of creating a truly inclusive web experience. By considering users with disabilities, we ensure that everyone can perceive, understand, navigate, and interact with our content. Think about it. Color contrast, font sizes, keyboard navigation, and screen reader compatibility. These are all factors that can significantly impact a user's ability to access and enjoy our websites. And the beautiful thing is, writing accessible CSS isn't rocket science. In fact, many of the principles are just good coding practices that benefit all users. So let's make a conscious effort to build empathy into our code. Let's create websites that are not only visually stunning, but also accessible and usable for everyone. Alright, let's talk about CSS variables, also known as custom properties. These little gems can make your CSS infinitely more maintainable, consistent, and dare I say, even fun to work with. Think of custom properties as the superheroes of your CSS. They allow you to store values such as colors, font sizes, or any other property you can imagine, and then reuse them throughout your style sheet. No more hunting down every instance of a specific color when you want to make a change. With custom properties, you can update the value in one central location, and it will cascade throughout your entire project. It's like magic, but better, because it's real, and it's called CSS. So if you're not already using custom properties, what are you waiting for? They're your secret weapon for writing cleaner, more efficient, and more powerful CSS. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about performance. In today's fast-paced digital world, users expect lightning-fast websites. And you know what can slow down a website faster than a snail in a Wi-Fi dead zone? You guessed it. Unoptimized CSS. The good news is that there are plenty of things we can do to streamline our style sheets and give our websites that much-needed speed boost. First off, let's talk about file size. The leaner your CSS files, the faster they'll load. So make sure you're minifying your CSS, which basically means removing all the unnecessary white space and comments that bloat up your file size. Next up, be mindful of how you're using your styles. Avoid using overly complex selectors that force the browser to do a ton of work behind the scenes. And be strategic about how you use shorthands and inheritance to your advantage. Remember, every little bit counts when it comes to performance. So, let's make sure our CSS is working with us, not against us. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more web development tips and tricks. We covered some critical CSS mistakes and, more importantly, how to steer clear of them. Remember, writing clean, efficient, and future-proof CSS is an ongoing journey, and there's always something new to learn. But by being mindful of these common pitfalls and adopting best practices, you can level up your CSS game and create amazing web experiences. See you next time.